Hi guys and girls, welcome to another video. Now in today's video, I want to talk about some of the most shocking or scary or really just uncomfortable things that I've seen in the 2 years that I've been living in China. So, number one, scorpions and insects. Now, people like to eat scorpions and insects in China. This is no secret, but seeing it up close in person was really quite an experience for me. There are a few vendors that sell scorpions to eat, and essentially what they do is they have they're only small scorpions, but you can see them. They're live, they're moving around in the bowl. And when I went to look this time, I was quite shocked the first time I saw them. And they take the scorpion, they put it in like a mini cooker, and it has oil in it. And then you can hear this kind of pop. It's like popcorn, the pop, 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 pop. And it's really quite disturbing to see. Well, it was for me quite disturbing to see. Now, I thought I had to try it because, this is something new. I've never done it before. And that's exactly what I did. I went and tried the scorpions. Now, to be fair, the taste wasn't so bad. It was kind of disguised by the oily, crispy texture and taste. They are really fried in oil, and all of the kind of substance of the scorpion is taken out by the kind of cooking process. So it's really just kind of like a shell that you're eating. But still, it does have an odd, funny kind of taste. I can only describe it as like eating an insect. If you've ever done that as a kid, maybe you had an insect that you wanted to eat. Some people do. And yeah, it was just really quite unusual and disturbing for me the first time I saw this. Now, you can go to many other places in other cities. You can go to Beijing and they have markets where they sell spiders and big scorpions, tarantulas as well, and just all kinds of insects. And that's something that I haven't done. I've just not had the need to do that. The other thing is as well, chicken feet is quite a delicacy here. Seeing the chicken feet in the shop in kind of a pre-packaged form is also quite disturbing. And the chicken feet, they almost look like a monster's foot. If you've never seen chicken feet before, it can be quite disturbing. But I have also tried chicken feet, and it's not something that I am personally a fan of. It's very chewy and doesn't taste good to me. But over here, they're supposed to be nutritious, and many people do enjoy eating chicken feet. Number two, glass bridges. Now, you'll find all across China glass bridges. They have glass bridges put between two mountains, and you can cross over from one side to the other across a kind of valley. Some bridges you'll cross over water, some you'll cross over land. But if you've never done it before, like me, it really is quite terrifying when you're up there. Now, we have a glass bridge nearby where we live. It's in a kind of park / outdoor zoo. It's a very large area. And the glass bridge, it makes a sound as you cross over, almost like simulating you breaking glass. I think also it has visual effects there as well. So it makes it even more thrilling. And that can be quite scary when the wind is blowing hard and what have you. And these glass bridges can be very long. They are very long, and they are high up. So if you ever want a thrilling experience, the glass bridges in China certainly give you that. Number three, getting stuck in the countryside in the early hours of the morning. Yeah, so this was an experience, definitely a scary one. Now, I'll just give you a bit of a background to the story. So this was around about summertime, in the middle of summer. Me and a few friends decided to go to a really remote beach in the city that we live in. And yeah, it's in the middle of the countryside, so it's not a built-up area. You still have buildings, and there are still people that live there, and what have you. But this is really a remote place. You can see the pictures here of the mountains and the sea and the sand just together. It's really quite an idyllic place. So we decided to camp there overnight. Now, it was around about 1 or 2 in the early hours of the morning. We'd been drinking beer, we'd been eating, snacks and things. We were kind of ready to go to sleep. Now, I had an emergency. I needed to get back home. So it was really quite important for me to find a taxi that would take me home. So as I left the beach, I loaded up my Didi, China's version of Uber, and I scanned for any kind of vehicle, taxis or the dedicated Uber drivers, the Didi drivers, and I could find no one. At this point, I decided to walk in the direction of my home in the hope that I would actually find a taxi, and it would scan and scan and scan, and nothing. Couldn't find anything. So I kept walking and walking. I didn't stop. My legs began to ache. It was I was walking for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, maybe more. And this was in the middle of the morning. There were no cars around. There were a few cars that would drive past now and then, and there was construction that was going on, but really nobody that could help me. Hitchhiking isn't really a thing. People are very safety aware here, and it's unlikely that somebody would pick you up, a stranger, in the middle of nowhere and take you home. Now, as I was walking along the road, I would see stray dogs, and there are many stray dogs in China. Some of these dogs, they are domesticated and they're, thrown out. Just, people don't want them anymore. And then you see just these random packs of dogs straying around, and some of them might bark at you, others just do their own thing, but these dogs were barking. I don't think they were guard dogs, but I did hear guard dogs barking too. But these dogs were stray dogs, and they would stop and they would look at me, and they'd see me coming, and we'd just look at each other, and I would continue walking and try not to maintain eye contact for too long, in the hope that the dog would just leave me alone. Now, I didn't get chased, luckily, but there were many occasions where I would, see this huge dog, and I would just pray that this thing would not come after me. And it was really quite scary. Now, after about 2.5 hours or 3 hours of walking, I was ready to sleep. I was genuinely thinking about, just putting my bag down and sleeping. But in the end, I found a taxi, and the taxi, this guy, he had 2 other people in the back, and it turned out that he'd actually seen me and he'd come back to get me, and obviously he saw extra profit in there, and I'm so glad he did. I was willing to pay, a lot of money to get back at that time, but it was still quite cheap, and I'm just so glad that I managed to get home that night. Number 4, cult-like seminars or events or gatherings for work. Now, this isn't something I personally have experienced. This is something that my girlfriend experienced. And let me tell you about this. So it wasn't too long ago, my girlfriend was working at a training school, language center, and they were sent on this trip. They were sent on this seminar, this gathering. Only the Chinese staff, not the foreign staff. So they went to this hotel/conference room, and there was a man delivering the seminar, giving the seminar to his students, the people on this training from the school. And he had them do many different things, really quite crazy things. For example, there was a woman, just a small, thin, young woman. he made her try to get past these two men to get to the other side of the stage, the room, to get this piece of paper or whatever it was. In this video, we can see people being made to play what looks like a kind of tug of war, but really screaming and just having to, I don't exactly know what they were supposed to do here. But this is kind of just the crazy stuff that you could be sent on, as some of the Chinese people are sent on in order to, you know, improve their team bonding, team building, things like this. Number 5, fire near my apartment. It wasn't too long ago that this happened, maybe a few months ago. I was just relaxing at home. I had a day off, but I heard this banging, and it was kind of like a screech followed by a bang. And I looked outside the window to check out what was going on. When I looked out, there was smoke everywhere. It was coming from a building site just opposite where I live. You can see it in the video. There was just heavy, thick smoke being thrown out everywhere. And it was really quite scary because I didn't know if there was anything flammable that could catch on fire and then explode. And the sound was really quite terrifying. I just thought if anything else would catch fire. You can hear sirens wailing in the background. Now, eventually it was put out. Really quite terrifying to watch. So these are just 5 of the scariest things I've seen in China in the 2 years that I've been here. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.